know that feeling when people talk about Spain and it's all beaches and bullfights, or flamenco and fiestas? Like this diverse nation is just one-dimensional tourist cliches with nothing deeper to explore? Yeah, we're absolutely shattering that surface-level view today. If you've landed on Travelist Guide, you know we go beyond the postcard images to discover what makes destinations truly extraordinary. We're diving deep into the real Spain, where Moorish palaces rival fairy tales, where Gaudi's architecture defies gravity and logic, where cathedrals took 6 centuries to build and still aren't finished, where Roman aqueducts still stand after 2,000 years, and where mountain villages cling to cliffsides above gorges that will leave you breathless. This isn't the Spain of stereotypes. This is the land where Islamic, Christian, and Jewish cultures created unique architectural fusion, where avant-garde museums reshape skylines, where pilgrimage routes have been walked for a millennium, and where every region maintains distinct identity. 25 destinations across the Iberian Peninsula, showing you landscapes from Mediterranean paradise to alpine peaks that will completely transform everything you thought you knew about Spain. So, before we begin this extraordinary journey through a country where history, art, and nature collide in the most spectacular ways, smash that subscribe button on Travelist Guide right now, hit the notification bell, and prepare to see Spain like you never imagined possible. The Sagrada Familia in Barcelona is Antoni Gaudi's unfinished masterpiece that's been under construction since 1882 and won't be completed until approximately 2026, making it a 144-year project. The basilica's exterior has 3 grand facades representing Christ's birth, passion, and glory, with each covered in intricate sculptures telling biblical stories. The interior features columns designed like trees branching into the vaulted ceiling with light filtering through stained glass windows, creating a forest of colors that change throughout the day. Gaudí spent 40 years on this project, living on site until his death in 1926. The Nativity facade he personally supervised is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, showcasing his organic architectural style where nature inspired every curve and form, making it unlike any church on Earth. Park Güell on Carmel Hill, overlooking Barcelona, was designed by Antoni Gaudí between 1900 and 1914 as a garden city for Barcelona's elite that never materialized. The park has colorful mosaic-covered structures, including the famous Serpentine Bench, offering panoramic city views, and the mosaic salamander fountain that's become Barcelona's symbol. The hypostyle hall has 86 columns supporting the plaza above, with the ceiling decorated with mosaic medallions. Gaudí's house museum shows how he lived while working on the project. The organic forms blend architecture with landscape using broken ceramic tiles in the Trencadís technique, creating vibrant surfaces. The park represents Gaudí's vision of harmonizing human creation with natural forms in a space that feels like walking through a fairy tale. La Rambla stretches 1.2 kilometers from Plaça de Catalunya to the Christopher Columbus Monument at the Mediterranean, connecting Barcelona's Gothic quarter with the waterfront. The tree-lined pedestrian boulevard has human statues performing, flower stalls selling bouquets, bird vendors, street artists, and the famous La Boqueria market offering fresh produce, seafood, and local specialties. The historic buildings lining the street include the Liceu Opera House and Palau Güell. Side streets lead into the Gothic Quarter's medieval alleys, while the waterfront has the old port transformed into entertainment areas. La Rambla represents Barcelona's energy with locals and tourists, mixing in constant motion, creating the vibrant street life that defines Mediterranean urban culture, where the street itself becomes the destination. The Alhambra complex crowning Granada's hill is Islamic architecture's pinnacle in Europe, built by Nasrid emirs between the 13th and 14th centuries as their palace and fortress. The Nasrid palaces feature intricate stucco work, ceramic tiles, and carved wood, creating geometric patterns covering every surface, with the Court of the Lions having 12 marble lions supporting a fountain surrounded by 124 slender columns. The Generalife Summer Palace has gardens with water channels and fountains designed for contemplation. The Alcazaba Fortress offers views across Granada to the Sierra Nevada mountains. The complex shows 8 centuries of architectural evolution, from Islamic palace to Christian additions after 1492. The detailed Arabic inscriptions, reflecting pools and garden courtyards, create spaces designed to represent paradise on earth. Córdoba's Mezquita Cathedral is the extraordinary building where a massive Catholic cathedral was built inside an 8th century mosque, creating one of the world's most unusual religious structures. The mosque section has 856 columns supporting red and white double arches, creating a forest-like space that feels infinite. The mihrab's golden mosaics and marble show Byzantine artistry, while the Renaissance cathedral nave rising through the mosque's center creates jarring contrast. The mosque was the Islamic world's second largest when Córdoba was the Western Caliphate's capital, rivaling Baghdad. After the Christian Reconquista in 1236, rather than destroying the mosque, a cathedral was inserted, preserving the Islamic architecture while adapting it for Christian worship, creating the unique hybrid reflecting Spain's layered religious history. Seville Cathedral, built between 1401 and 1528 on the former Great Mosque site, is the world's largest Gothic cathedral with 15 naves covering 11,520 square meters. The cathedral houses Christopher Columbus's tomb, with pallbearers representing the 4 kingdoms of Spain carrying his coffin. The cathedral's art includes works by Murillo, Zurbarán, and Goya, while the treasury displays the massive silver monstrance carried during Corpus Christi processions. The Giralda Bell Tower was originally the mosque's minaret, built in 1198, topped with Renaissance-style bells in the 16th century. Climbing the Giralda's ramps, built for horses, offers panoramic views across Seville's rooftops to the Guadalquivir River, showing how the city grew around this architectural giant that dominates the skyline. The Alcazar of Seville is the royal palace, continuously used by Spanish monarchs for 7 centuries, making it Europe's oldest royal residence still in use. The Mudéjar architecture, created by Christian kings employing Muslim craftsmen, combines Islamic decorative styles with Christian symbolism. The Ambassadors' Hall has a golden dome and intricate plaster work, while the courtyard of the Maidens has reflecting pools and delicate arches. The palace gardens have fountains, pavilions, orange trees, and peacocks wandering paths that inspired the water gardens of Dorne in Game of Thrones filmed here. The Gothic Palace section shows later additions, while the baths demonstrate Moorish influence. The Alcazar represents medieval Spain's cultural synthesis, where artistic traditions merged, creating unique beauty. Plaza de España, built in 1928 for the Ibero-American Exposition, is the massive semicircular plaza, with a canal, bridges, and tiled alcoves representing all 50 Spanish provinces. The building curves around the plaza with Renaissance Revival architecture featuring brick, marble, and ceramic tiles, creating colorful patterns. Each province alcove has benches and maps showing regional history, with visitors photographing their home province. The canal has boats for rowing, while the plaza's bridges represent Spain's ancient kingdoms. The building now houses government offices, while the surrounding Maria Luisa Park has fountains and gardens. The plaza appeared in Star Wars Episode II and Lawrence of Arabia, showcasing its cinematic grandeur. The scale and detail make it Seville's most photographed location. The Royal Palace of Madrid, with 3,418 rooms, is Western Europe's largest palace, though the royal family now lives in the more modest Zarzuela Palace, using the royal palace only for state ceremonies. The palace, built between 1738 and 1755, replacing a fortress destroyed by fire, has Baroque and neoclassical architecture, with the throne room featuring red velvet walls and ceiling frescoes by Tiepolo. The Royal Armory displays medieval weapons and armor, while the palace art collection includes works by Caravaggio, Velázquez, and Goya. The Royal Pharmacy shows centuries of medicine containers and prescriptions. The changing of the guard ceremony outside follows military traditions. The palace overlooks the Manzanares River with the Sabatini Gardens, providing formal landscaping, while the palace interior showcases Spain's royal heritage. The Prado Museum in Madrid houses the world's finest collection of European art from the 12th to early 20th centuries, with masterpieces by Velázquez, Goya, El Greco, Titian, Rubens, and Bosch. Velázquez's Las Meninas is the museum's most famous painting, a complex composition featuring the artist himself with the royal family. Goya's black paintings from his deaf period show dark psychological imagery, while his earlier works depict Spanish society. The Bosch triptych The Garden of Earthly Delights, filled with surreal symbolism, draws crowds analyzing its strange creatures and moral allegories. The museum building, designed as Natural Science Museum, was repurposed for the Royal Art Collection, opened to the public in 1819, making it one of the world's first public art museums, representing Spain's artistic golden age. Retiro Park, covering 125 hectares in Madrid's center, was created in the 17th century as Royal Gardens, opened to the public in 1868, becoming the city's most popular park. The Crystal Palace, built in 1887, is a glass and metal structure hosting art exhibitions surrounded by a lake. The monument to Alfonso XII has a semicircular colonnade facing the large lake where visitors rent rowboats. The Rosalita Rose Garden has over 4,000 roses blooming in organized patterns, while the Fallen Angel statue is reportedly the world's only public monument dedicated to Lucifer. Street performers, puppet shows, and portrait artists create weekend entertainment while joggers and cyclists use the paths. The park provides escape from urban intensity, maintaining formal gardens and wild areas coexisting in organized chaos. Santiago de Compostela. Cathedral in Galicia is the destination of the Camino de Santiago pilgrimage routes, walked by millions seeking spiritual renewal or adventure. The cathedral supposedly houses the remains of Saint James the Apostle, discovered in the 9th century, making it Christianity's third most important pilgrimage site after Jerusalem and Rome. The Baroque facade with twin towers dominates the Plaza del Obradoiro, where exhausted pilgrims arrive after walking hundreds of kilometers. The interior's massive Botafumiro incense burner swings through the transept during special masses requiring 8 men to operate. The Portico of Glory has Romanesque sculptures considered medieval art masterpieces. The pilgrimage tradition spans 1,000 years, with the cathedral representing the journey's culmination where suffering transforms into spiritual achievement. The Guggenheim Museum Bilbao, designed by Frank Gehry, opened in 1997, transforming the declining industrial city into an international cultural destination, demonstrating architecture's power to revitalize urban areas. The building's curved titanium panels catch light, creating shimmering effects, while the organic form suggests ships honoring Bilbao's maritime heritage. The interior spaces flow unconventionally, with galleries of varying heights and shapes displaying contemporary art, including permanent installations by Richard Serra and Jeff Koons' flower puppy guarding the entrance. The Nervion River location integrates the building with the city's transformation from industry to culture and tourism. The Bilbao effect describes how iconic architecture attracts visitors, creating economic revival copied by cities worldwide attempting their own architectural transformations. The City of Arts and Sciences in Valencia is the futuristic complex designed by Santiago Calatrava, featuring white structures resembling bones or spaceships along the former riverbed, transformed into gardens. The complex includes the Hemispheric with its eye-shaped IMAX theater, the Príncipe Felipe Science Museum with interactive exhibitions, the Oceanographic Aquarium, Europe's largest with ocean habitats including Arctic and Antarctic environments, and the Palau de les Arts Reina Sofia Opera House with a metallic shell. The buildings use water as design elements with reflections doubling their visual impact. The complex costs billions and faced controversy, but transformed Valencia's image from agricultural city to innovative cultural destination, attracting visitors worldwide, fascinated by the architectural vision representing humanity's technological future. Ibiza's beaches range from family-friendly coves to party beaches where beach clubs host world-famous DJs, creating different experiences around the island. Cala Comte has turquoise water, white sand, and sunset views to Esvedra Rock, creating romantic settings, while Playa d'Embosa near Ibiza town has beach clubs and water sports. The northern beaches like Beneiras have hippie markets and drum circles, maintaining Ibiza's bohemian heritage before massive tourism. The western coast has dramatic cliffs and hidden coves accessible by boat. The crystalline water comes from Posidonia seagrass meadows, UNESCO protected ecosystems filtering water, creating exceptional clarity. Ibiza balances hedonistic party reputation with family tourism and nature preservation, showing the island's complexity beyond stereotypes of excess and electronic music. The Serra de Tramuntana mountain range along Mallorca's northwest coast is a UNESCO World Heritage cultural landscape where mountains drop dramatically to the Mediterranean, creating spectacular scenery. The winding MA10 road connects mountain villages like Valdemossa, where Chopin spent winter in 1838, Daya, where artists and writers have colonies, and Soler, accessible by historic wooden train from Palma. The GR221 hiking trail traverses the range, passing through olive groves, pine forests, and ancient stone villages with coastal views. The mountains rise to Puig Major at 1,445 meters, creating diverse microclimates and ecosystems. The dry stone constructions, irrigation systems, and agricultural terraces show centuries of human adaptation to the mountain environment, making it a living cultural landscape. Toledo, rising above the Tagus River, was Spain's capital until 1561, with medieval walls encircling the historic center, where Christian, Muslim, and Jewish communities created unique cultural synthesis. The Gothic cathedral has 5 naves and art by El Greco, who lived in Toledo painting its dramatic landscapes. The Alcazar fortress dominates the skyline, rebuilt after Civil War damage. The Santa Maria la Blanca synagogue shows Mudéjar architecture, while the El Transito synagogue has a museum documenting Spain's Jewish heritage before the 1492 expulsion. The Damascene workshops continue medieval metalworking traditions, inlaying gold into steel, creating Toledo's famous blades. The entire city is a museum where every corner reveals layers of history, making it impossible to separate eras as they overlap in architecture, art, and culture. Salamanca's sandstone buildings glow golden in sunlight, giving it the nickname Golden City, with the University of Salamanca, founded in 1218, being Europe's third oldest university, where scholars studied canon law, theology, and medicine. The university's ornate plateresque facade has the hidden frog on a skull that students must find for good luck. The lecture halls where Miguel de Unamuno taught preserve academic traditions spanning 8 centuries. The Plaza Mayor, completed in 1755, is Spain's most beautiful main square, with uniform Baroque architecture, creating an enclosed space where medallions of famous Spaniards decorate the arcade arches. The cathedral has 2 sections, Old Romanesque and New Gothic sharing walls. Salamanca's intellectual heritage makes it vibrant, with students filling streets and bars, creating youthful energy in this historic city. Ronda dramatically straddles the El Tajo Gorge with the Puente Nuevo Bridge, spanning 120 meters above the Guadalavian River, connecting the old Moorish town with the newer district. The bridge, built between 1751 and 1793, has a chamber above the central arch used as a prison, with legends of people thrown from windows to the rocks below during the Civil War. The gorge's sheer cliffs create dramatic views, while the old town has the Mondragon Palace and Arab baths remaining from Islamic rule. Ronda's bullring, Plaza de Toros, built in 1785, is where modern bullfighting rules were established by the Romero family, making it a pilgrimage site for bullfighting enthusiasts. Hemingway and Orson Welles loved Ronda, with Welles's ashes scattered at the nearby bullfighter's estate, honoring his wishes. If you've made it through 25 extraordinary Spanish destinations, you're clearly not someone who settles for superficial understanding of this complex nation. You're the traveler who recognizes that Spain isn't just one country, but a collection of distinct regions, each with unique languages, cuisines, and identities united by shared history, yet fiercely proud of their differences. So, here's your mission. Smash that subscribe button on Travelist Guide like you're breaking through centuries of misconceptions. Absolutely obliterate that notification bell. And drop a comment telling us which Spanish destination shocked you the most, or which unique site just became your next must-visit location. Share this with anyone who still thinks Spain is just beaches and fiestas, because their perspective needs the cultural depth that comes from understanding Moorish palaces, Gothic cathedrals, Gaudi's genius, Basque innovation, and regional diversity. Until next time, keep exploring places where Islamic and Christian architecture merge, where avant-garde museums reshape cities, where pilgrims walk ancient routes, where mountains hide villages, and where every region tells a different story. Now get out there and experience the real Spain, the one where history, art, culture, and natural beauty combine, creating experiences that feel absolutely unreal.